All right, Robert. I know it's not June. Last time you were ready to go golfing.
Hey,
Oh, I guess you do. I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
good evening. This is the Thursday, February 5th, 2026 meeting of the Capital Improvements Planning Committee. We are at the Public Safety Complex at 576 Pleasant Street here in Paxton. We are a committee complement of 6. All members are present. I declare we have a quorum, and we are open for business at approximately 7:05 p.m. We have what appears to be a short meeting agenda on the board, but a lot to do. The goal, hopefully, is to get through all of the capital requests that have been made before, presented to CIPC in the way of Wachusett Regional School District, Fire and EMS, and DPW. I'm not going to necessarily go through all of those, but we'll see a slide in a minute, hopefully, that presents all of them on a single piece of paper. I've presented them in such a way that we make sure we discuss all of them, but I'll defer to the committee if you'd like to take any of them out of order because they weren't necessarily put together in any particular order. When we deliberate these, traditionally, for those Robert Rules aficionados out there, typically there's a motion made and seconded and then a discussion. I think it might be advisable tonight to have a lot of discussion before motion is made and seconded and then further discussion, because I think there's enough backfill information that's going to lend itself or not to a motion being made. Robert was good enough to put the landscaped schedule up on the screen for you. As you can see, on the left-hand side, Wachusett Regional School District, Fire, EMS, and DPW. And even though there's nothing before us, there may or may not, but maybe a slight discussion regarding police, and that's why it's up there. You can see in the second column, this is an abridged version of what it is that the capital request that was put before us was. I'm not going to read it to you. You can do that yourself. In the middle column, which is the amount, again, those were per largely Robert's email to us, none of which were dramatically changed in the presentation, but those could be a slight bit fluid, but not completely so. It gives us a point of reference. In the column, which has got the wider margin and the suggested financing and funding at the top, I'm not going to lie to you, the yellow is me. I took a liberty at editorializing here. Some would argue I shouldn't have done that, but I'm going to argue that maybe a completely blank sheet of paper might have been more difficult, and at least this gives us something to talk about. And then on the left-hand side is, the right-hand side is, what are we going to do? What's the status? And you can see in many cases it's TBA, because that's why we're here this evening, to discuss those. I did regarding the F-550. there's a yes there, pretty much because that's been decided, not instead of us, but decided for us, that that's going to go through Chapter 90 funds, and the bid and maybe even the award is in the queue. Technically, our report is written so that things can go forward to the select board first, but ultimately, hopefully, to the annual town meeting. So it could be argued that that doesn't need to be in our CIPC report, but I'm recommending that it be in the report, and so state what this funding is. I just think it gives a much better record and a trail as to where did that truck come from. So that's the backdrop, and we do have some time, but several of you have communicated to me some conflicts that you're going to have in ensuing Thursdays. So the hope is to get as much of this discussed and decided this evening. Then we would have time to write our committee report. I don't want to own it, but I would probably be the author of it, but I'm not the singular author of it. It would be shared with everybody to edit it and make remarks, and so that the ultimate report that goes forward has everybody's blessing. So with that, unless there are any questions, we might want to start on this, and I feel a question coming on.
How about that? You can read it right on my forehead. Is this an editable document? Can you make changes to that right now on the screen?
Yeah.
All right, so the F-550, I'm sorry, the F-150 is an F-350?
Yes, it is.
No, but it's listed here as an F-150. It's a 350.
Change.
So you can, that's perfect. And the, wait, there was another one I saw here. We'll just start right there with that, because when I looked at the price, I said a F-150 at 80 grand versus an F-550, even though it's a leftover, which is good, at 90. And my other question, it was a question.
That's a good catch, by the way. Thank you.
It was a question. When Travis was here last week,
Yep.
we were discussing that he found this leftover and all of that. And I know he's not here for me to ask the question. But I thought about this all week since we met last Thursday. We're going to acquire this vehicle with Chapter 90 funds, but we can't put a snowplow on it. So it's literally going to be sidelined in terms of a work vehicle until, what I'll say, nice weather gets here.
Until we have the available funds from the DPW budget to put the snowplow on there.
Which he said was about $8,500.
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
it's
I'm
in that
wrong, just, but I think those are the numbers that, so,
Can I interrupt? Are you getting ahead of us on that
Okay.
slide?
sure.
Yeah, you want to wait until we get to
Sure.
Yeah.
there on the slide?
Okay.
Yeah, good questions, but maybe they can save till we get to
right.
DPW.
Okay.
So we have the Wachusett Regional School District. We talked about it twice, and
Yep.
Robert, you had a meeting scheduled with them that got snowed out, and I don't know if it got rescheduled or if you have any kind of update for us.
So I do have an update. Unfortunately, it's not a good update. So we've gotten a new quote for the boiler, and unfortunately, it has gone up. So it is now $101,647.
So to do
Instead
the
of-
math for me, the cost overrun, what would be the delta now?
What did you say, 101?
34,000 and change?
Correct. Yep.
101,
101,647.
okay, and how long is that good for?
Good for 15 days
To accept?
to, yeah, actually
15
go
days
through
from
with it.
tonight?
From 1:30 when I received that.
So 15 days from the end of January, which is the
So
15th of...
basically, right
Well,
after.
Happy Valentine's Day.
So unfortunately, I made them aware that that's something that's not going to work for us because we need to allocate the money generally at town meeting. So that's something that we're going to need a longer, quote for. And then also, I'm hoping that that quote is inflated right now due to the weather conditions that we're currently in. So, I mean, so I got a breakdown of when we received these quotes. So back in November 20th of 2024 is when we got that 67,600. And then just a short 3 weeks later, 12/13/2024, it went up to 89,910. And it was said because the subs were missing on the previous quote.
All right,
I
now,
got to interrupt you right there.
well, okay.
Sure.
So let me grab this first, Neil. You just talked 2024.
Correct.
They came to us in March of 2025
With that 67 number?
with the, well, let me phrase it differently, with the old number,
Yeah.
when the old number was already old and they had a new number, but they gave us the old number.
Okay.
Is that a fair?
So unfortunately, it's before my time. I went through trying to see if I could see anything in correspondence and I did not have any luck there.
All you have to do is watch the meeting from last year when they were here.
January 23rd, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Wenzel. And the reason I'm saying that is, and I mentioned this last week, Jeff Wenzel and I had the luxury of visiting the school with Mr. Wild from the Wachusett School District, who's buildings and grounds maintenance.
Yep, that's who I got these quotes.
Okay, that's fine. And they came to us on January 23rd, having knowledge of the December, whatever, 19th, whatever you just gave the
Yeah,
update.
December 13th.
13th price.
But still gave us the.
They gave us the old price, and that night, the question was asked of the superintendent, of Mr. Wild, of Scott Runstrom, and somebody else from the principal from the school was here. There were 4 members related to school regulations or needs or whatever. And they assured us, because just like I'm talking with you, I asked them, is this price good? Yes, it is. It's on the tape. So if they misinformed us of the gap from 67 to 89 in a 3-week period, there was no way on God's earth that this was ever going to fly come July 1st, 2025 to purchase it for the 26 fiscal year.
So
And we're
in
really being
July,
misled.
They gave another quote of 94,079
In,
July of 25. So when they tried to,
who'd they give it to?
I don't have that.
So Robert, let's make
Again, this
sure
is
we're
not-
absolutely,
I'm not mad at you, and please don't, this is not to come
Yeah.
out that way. I'm mad at them, and they're not here to defend it.
Okay.
so Robert, I want to piggyback on this. This preceded you,
Yep.
but now you are you. You're
I-
the town
I
administrator.
inherited-
We have no choice but to direct our concerns
Thanks.
towards you.
Understood.
This is the presentation that they made that very evening.
Okay.
There were 4 of them. And now you're telling me they were hell-bent on 67,400 when they knew or should have known that number was bad then. That's point 1, 2, or 3. Secondly, when it was voted on, the 67,400 on a warrant article on June 16th,
Yeah.
they were present at that particular meeting to support the Wachusett Regional School budget. Did it dawn on them to whisper in somebody's ear that that's not a good number, as opposed to watch it being voted in
is terrible.
when they knew it was wrong? This thing has been so terribly handled, I can't begin to talk about all the points. So now the issue is, I said last week, oh my God, they missed it by 40%. The number went up. Now they're flirting with missing it by 50%. That is completely inexcusable. And one last thing.
Yep.
We heard about this on a footnote of one of your emails, which we are grateful and thank you for doing.
Yeah.
But that's how we did it. Everybody else submits the forms, which are standard required to submit a capital request to CIPC that they did a year ago at 67.4, and now we're hearing hearsay almost, step by step by step. that it's higher and more, and we should have known, but we didn't know. When did they know? We now know when they knew that it wasn't 67, it was 89. When did they know that it was worse than even that? And who did?
July.
That's what I have is just the timeline. So I have 11/20, 12/13, 7/24, and then the most recent one, which I asked for, which is 1/30.
But that's only good for 15 days.
Correct, so
I mean-
it does us no good. So that's something I obviously have to go back to them. And that is going to be good from potentially the beginning of May until after June.
So is this?
We need
All right,
something
so
a
do
lot
you know
longer.
this vendor that they chose? Is this a state contractor vendor?
Correct, yeah.
So do we have them then the luxury, we can go outside that and ask for,
So I have called for some quotes.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that that's in line with where it should be. So
Okay.
unfortunately, I have not.
and again,
And-
I'm not coming, I want everybody at home watching this, Chris, your compatriots on the board, because last year I got a little riled up at a couple meetings. I am upset, but I'm not upset with you. So please, this is not directed at you, other than for the purpose of this meeting. You're sitting
I
in
know,
that.
I'm the vessel to them.
All right,
So
you
I-
are sitting in that chair, and I would not want to be you right now, because you have to go back and try to explain to them how upset this board, and thus the town, because we are representing the residents or citizens here and the voting public.
Absolutely.
And this is,
It's
this is bad. It
I understand.
really is. And then Wachusett's going to come with their budget, say we need X number of millions of dollars for the Paxton, portion. And it's just, I don't think they listen. I really don't. I think they just say, they put the blinders on and say, add whatever the percent increase is and send it out.
So I do disagree with that. They do have some very intelligent people there, and
I
they're
didn't
not
say they were
doing
not
that.
intelligent.
Yeah,
I just said they're
know.
putting blinders on,
But-
saying we don't have to listen to the fray that's out there. We'll just focus on what we're doing here and then send those numbers out. There was no suggestion of,
I understand. I'm just saying that they do put a lot of thought and effort into it. They do take into consideration what the 5 towns tell them. So I do think that they put a little more into it and don't put blinders on, but I agree with you that in this situation, it could have definitely been handled better, and that's something that I fully own now, and I'm going to make sure that I do whatever I can to make this right. So
So Robert, the, did you have any discussion in any of the, I don't know if they're email correspondence or meetings or
so it was both email and phone calls.
any discussion about using their own capital stabilization fund?
Correct. So I did ask about that. Unfortunately, they said that was not an option because we do have that $35,000 threshold right now. So anything below that, they'll take care of. Anything above that, it does fall on the town, because if they started doing projects above and beyond that, then it's not fair to the other 4 towns because they're funding our project. When I did ask about when they made the improvements in our kitchen at PCS, that was using different money that can't be allocated towards non-food service. So I am trying all different avenues, and I will continue to do so. Just unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to resolve this tonight, and I'm...
is that why they're not here tonight? They didn't want to hear?
No, not at all. They
All right, 'cause-
didn't bow out on the meeting or
All right,
anything
I
like
just
that.
did some fast math here. 101,647
Yep.
minus 35,000 is 66,647. They asked us for 67,000. I'll kick in the 300.
Well,
Isn't that
that's
big
pretty
of me?
nice of you, but
That's right, okay.
unfortunately, that's not how the lease agreement works. So it's any repair under 35,000.
All right,
as like
34,900.
Well, as the actual amount. So it's not like. So if it's $50,000, we're not on the hook for 15, and they'll take care of the 35.
But in
So
this case,
that's
there are
why.
extenuating circumstances here. First of all, from a truthfulness.
No,
they-
I understand.
they
There's
were
definitely
not-
been.
I mean, if those dates that you gave us with those numbers, they were not forthcoming with facts. Go ahead.
Who would have been, I guess, the contact at the time.
From Wachusett or from the town?
I guess whoever those dates are from.
Mark Weil.
That's,
To who, though?
it would have probably been to my predecessor. When I went through the email, I did not see, I couldn't find anything in there. So,
Yeah, in my personal opinion, what should happen, they should have immediately contacted the town administrator, who should have immediately brought to the select board, who might have wanted to engage CIPC in an update of that.
yeah,
Not sure that that would be required, but it would be nice. That's what we're talking about, is to keep us in the loop.
correct.
Those are 3 steps that didn't happen.
Yeah,
Correct. So
kinda-
I'm going to find out where we went off the rails there.
Right. I
So,
mean, and I agree with Mark. I mean, we're not the all-powerful committee in town, but we did put forward the boiler in our report.
Absolutely.
All right, so if something was determined after the report was written and voted on to pass to the selectmen, we kind of could have, we could have been remiss in getting that, if we didn't need it.
I would
But
say
the
that it
select
never
board-
made it to the select board. Though.
That's where the problem lies.
I'd like to see where that corresponds, because I don't
Yeah.
think those numbers are made up. I
The
think-
dates I agree with you, they're not.
So
They're-
someone was getting correspondence.
So
Okay.
that's something that I will do more homework on, and I will have some answers in, hopefully by our next meeting. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that is,
no. In terms of some
to
of
be
the
continued.
answers, in addition to that, it's got to be done differently and better. And I don't mean what didn't happen, I mean going forward.
Correct.
You can't have a nice conversation with them tomorrow and say, okay, well, we got a new number, and it's good for 15 days or 20
Yeah.
days.
No, I understand.
Here's the deal,
Doesn't
we may
work.
not meet until the middle of June. I'm not advocating for that, I'm not suggesting it, I'm just saying last year's May
it was
meeting got
late.
pushed out to June 16th. Circumstances, budget-wise and otherwise, are quite similar, so we could end up doing that again. So we can't have them say, I got a good number, but it's now good until March 15th. This has got to be good as of July 1st.
Correct, and that's something I have conveyed to them. It's just that the materials is what keeps.
The problem we have is that our committee report is probably going to be due the first week in March.
Yeah, so that's,
So if we put it in and we don't have a number that's going to hold until July, and if we don't put it in,
yeah,
then it can't go before the town meeting for a vote on it, and then the capital improvement planning committee is going to be criticized for that because we're putting the children at risk, which I do not want to be
Yeah.
the outcome of this.
Yep.
Because we tried to prevent that by pushing
Doing the
forward the
60.
boiler a year ago when they told us it was critical and urgent, and now we're, I think Jeff said January 23rd, we're beyond a year later, and we're not, and I don't mean coming up with a different number. This has been so poorly handled for people who do this for a living. There are people, you said they're bright, I agree, they were very bright, but they do buildings and grounds for a living. And to have this happen the way that this happened / didn't happen is inexcusable.
so I'm not
So
sure.
we're handcuffed as to what do we do? What,
I completely
literally, what do we do?
Yeah, so I'm not sure where the disconnect happened there. That's something that gonna do some more homework on. I'll come to, get to the bottom of that, and then we can determine the next steps of where we take it from there. If that ends up being that you can't make a recommendation in early March for something that's happening in July, then that might be a bridge we have to pass then, right?
Question, just
Yeah.
as, you can think of your next one, I got a whole bunch. We voted last year 67-4.
Yep.
What happens to that if this goes awry, amiss? It's just, I mean, what happens to the money? It's been allocated.
So that's something that then we would have to allocate back to free cash.
Characterize.
If I may.
Well, yeah, you have to.
If I may have some liberty, Jeff, would you enlighten, because we were both there, and I don't want this to be just a me, all right? Because sometimes, as I said, I'm critical, I talk a lot unfiltered, you just get what comes out, I'm thinking. All right, so,
Is that right?
yes. No, listen, I'll kid with all of you. When we were at the school, can you elaborate a little bit as what the mission statement that they gave us, or the root cause of what we had to look at that day?
Well, it was boilers.
Okay.
I mean, that was the,
Excuse me, do you have a mic?
yeah,
Yeah.
better?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it was primarily boilers. That was the mission.
And what were we told? Again, I'm going to kind of,
Yeah.
I don't want, it's not a
Yeah, I
cross-examination,
mean,
but I'm
no.
trying to get the information that we both heard, but I want it to come from somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite clear during that walkthrough and during the subsequent presentations that both boilers are end of life. They're past end of life. End of life would have been around 15 years. They're approximately now 29 years old, would have been 28 then. So, yeah, I mean, the discussion was clear. They're very, very old.
All right, and
They're way
one had
past
been-
way past end of life and need to be replaced.
Okay, and one had been rebuilt
Yes, correct.
the previous year. So by the end
Right.
of '24, calendar year '24, that boiler had been replaced, refurbished.
Refurbished, yeah,
All right,
not
and-
replaced.
And
refurbished.
did they describe how the refurbishment went? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I don't, other than it was a normal refurbishment, that they thought that they could get some more life out of it, but I don't remember anything specific about how they refurbished it.
Okay. I guess we were told it was put back into almost
Yeah.
new condition in a 29-year-old body.
That is, I do recall that, that's correct.
Okay, but so there was a new boiler, a new gun,
Yeah,
new
yeah.
new chambers. Everything had been replaced, to the fact that some of them were delayed because they had to be custom made because the boiler was no longer in
It had to
production.
be machined, parts of it had to be machined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when we looked at the two boilers that afternoon we were there, you could tell which one had been refurbished versus the one that was in question. And was there discussion, not only that day, but when they were here, about why we needed two boilers?
Yes, yeah. While I have the microphone, I rewatched the January 23rd meeting this afternoon. Yeah, and it's clear. I mean, in general, what was explained to us, in cold conditions like this, which is probably the coldest winter we've had in 20, 25 years, that you would need both boilers to successfully heat that building. That was made very, very clear. So if you lost one, you'd have some issues. Now, maybe if it's 40 degrees, 50 degrees, you could operate on one boiler, but it was very clear that in these type, like for example, this Saturday, this Sunday, last weekend, earlier this week, you would need both boilers to heat the building.
Okay. And it appears, at this point being one of the coldest winters in recent memory.
Yep.
Again, I would agree with the 20
Yeah,
years, but I'm not the weather forecaster, and I don't have the records. But it's been pretty damn cold for a very
Yeah.
long stretch. Not that we get a cold spell and then it snaps, January thaw comes in, then we get into February. It's been downright cold. But there's been no issues with, other than 2 snow days where we're closed due to no heat.
Yeah,
So the refurbished one seems to be doing a great job, and the gray ghost that was there on its last leg seems to be holding its own, too.
I do believe they're making repairs on the fly over there, but it's below our threshold, so it doesn't come to the town. But it's not that it's, going off without a hitch over there.
No, I'm not, but again, there are repairs made to every building in the region, or in the district, we'll say, not the regional district.
Correct.
On a regular basis. I mean, I'm not trying to single us out that we're.
I just don't think they were crying wolf on.
No,
On
if I
that.
can just.
Please, no, Jeff.
Yeah,
No, I think we might be
Yeah.
over-talking an issue. The need is there.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
right.
let's
Yeah,
move
okay.
on. Personally, I think the big thing for them to do, because we just cited a dozen gaffes
Yep.
that they committed, is that they should pay for it out of their capitalization fund. I know they said it's not an option. The truth of the matter is, it is an option. They've just opted not to do it. They got $3.5 million. This is 1% of it to make up for their gaffe. That's what they should do, in my opinion. And defer to what you get back from them and bring back to us. But time is going to be an issue, in terms of in our report, not in our report. And if we do, we don't know what number to put in.
Correct.
So, Jeff, did you want to say one more?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. This is more of a technical question. Would our free cash wasn't certified until when?
Today.
Today. Okay, well, that's breaking. Would that have been an issue, paying for this without that?
Would that have been an issue?
Yeah, paying to replace this
Oh,
boiler?
absolutely.
Okay.
Because we didn't have our free
Right,
cash
correct.
certified when we usually do. So we basically couldn't pay for it because we're not able to go to free cash. So that's why at special town meeting, we weren't able to make that another vote to
Right.
appropriate the correct.
So just so everyone's understanding, that money was allocated at town meeting as 67.5, and because the the free cash wasn't certified, we couldn't have bought this boiler on July 1st, August 1st, September 18th. My birthday, September 26th, correct?
Well, unless.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we could have done. You could have come to finance, and we could have looked at the reserve fund.
Short term, right, for
You could
emergencies.
have brought it to the special town meeting and
Okay.
used capital depreciation or stabilization. I'm not advocating for those, I'm just saying there are
other
options.
avenues.
Yeah.
So to speak to your point, certified cash was literally certified today at $511,000. 500 is baked into the budget.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that that's in cement. It's fluid, decisions have to be made, but the projections for the last 5 years is that 500 would be put into the budget. That would leave 11. This is now 33, 34. So there's a way to do it, but the question is, do we own having to think out of the box to cobble together $34,000 for their mishandling of this? I go back and say again, they own it, they should pay for it, that's the big thing to do.
Yep.
It's only 1%, and we're all friends again, and we'll go forward.
When is the superintendent and
23rd of March.
That's when he's coming to present to town? Okay, I got that on my calendar.
Can I just ask a clarification on this? So what does it take for this to pass through? What type of voice does Paxton actually have? Does it still work on the regional agreement where 4 towns can agree and we just have to pay what the 4 towns agreed upon? Or does Paxton really have leverage in this case if there's debate on the actual cost?
So, I mean, we really can't leverage the other 4 towns in this instance.
Yeah.
But what we're doing about the cost is soliciting our own bids, our own quotes, to make sure that they're reasonable and just to get a better idea of where it really should be. But usually, I think what you're talking about for leveraging would be for what they come to us for their budget, and that's when we can, go along with the other 4 towns or not.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Well, that was easy.
Holy cow.
I'm glad we started with that one.
Yeah. So what if we scrolled up or down to fire EMS? What if we took the new video server first? There was hope and discussion that maybe you would have a conversation with the cable
Yep.
communications committee, who has a fund, and not entirely, this doesn't fall entirely into it, but we're all one town trying to make it work. And did you have any update on that?
So that's exactly the sentiment I got from them, was that we are one town, they want to make it work, but they have to ensure that it does fall under their PEG guidelines, so public educational government guidelines, and that has to be with cable service. So this isn't like a slam dunk for that, because you're generally not going to be showing like police footage to the general public. So this is something that they have to try to see if they can accommodate our request and actually, give us some of their funds. But if it is allowable under law, then they are open to giving us funds for the video server.
The full 46,000?
So that was discussed. It was, the 56. So that was discussed.
56, excuse me.
Potentially doing the whole amount or a reduced amount. So all of it's on the table, but
Yep.
The big if is if it can actually be used.
Who do they need authority approval from, and when would they get that?
So that's something that the committee is looking into right now, possibly running it by an attorney, just to make sure that everything is correct and that they're not doing something that could potentially get them in trouble later on. So it all depends on when they get that information back, but I would probably anticipate maybe 2 weeks from now that we should have a clear yes or no answer on that.
Mike, is the camera system right now over the cable network in the commute? No, it's not.
No.
How do we monitor the cameras that are in place?
We have access online, or we have monitors down on the police side.
Okay.
It's just not something that's out to the public, right? You're not going to have.
Okay, no, I understand. I didn't know if that, because I know we hooked up the senior center, right?
Correct.
To this. So
Yep.
now those two things are talking, and you had asked,
These cameras here, you see here, here, and there are for cable only.
okay.
And then the one above your head is essentially the closed circuit.
Mike, give us a minute till you get a mic, sorry.
That's okay.
I don't know if it's on.
You always put me on the spot.
Click it on.
It's on. You should. So the big white cameras that are hanging here are for cable and for broadcasting on TV, streaming. The one above your head, that's essentially the closed circuit of the surveillance cameras that server would be for.
Okay. And when you made the presentation, you talked about the senior center, the public safety complex.
Yep.
Is there anything at town hall?
No.
All right, but there hopes to be.
Yeah, so there's nothing at the senior center. We hope that with this, we can then add cameras from those locations back to
Okay.
here. So there.
And then would there be, like, the library? Was that one
We
to
hope
add
so.
it? Okay, and then the DPW?
We hope so, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And again, that will be connected via the
To the server.
computer, okay.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's not like the same cable right now that's run between the buildings.
Okay.
And then when you're adding those additional cameras, it's not to provide like a public service.
Okay.
It's just for the security of the building.
Okay, all right.
But I appreciate you trying to
No, I
think
just,
of
I
a
wanted
way
to understand, so
Yeah,
I
get it
can
there.
ask an informed question versus a speculative type that's going through my mind right now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So Robert, for
Yep.
those that might be thinking or wanting to, I asked the question that the cable committee has a cable access fund
Yeah.
that generally has a very healthy six-figure number. Do you have the number as of December 31st or January?
Yep. So as of December 31st, they had $223,413.35 in there.
So this is
It would still be
magnanimous of them, a big dent in that,
correct. Yeah.
but it doesn't put them in crippling state.
Correct, but it is still up to a quarter, almost a quarter.
Yes,
of
it
their
is.
funds.
Yeah. So that goes back to this earlier point. Don't want to walk them away from $56,000, but can we get creative in terms of trying to avoid a capital exclusion or a debt exclusion, and just trying to get it, because I think the compelling point that was made when this is presented is this affects everybody in town. in terms of the public security and the public safety that it offers. So it's certainly worthy of our attention. So is there a way to cobble something this together? There's stabilization, there's capital stabilization, there's the access. I even threw out whether or not, because it was largely police and fire, for the benefit of the whole town, but largely of that nature, could something in the way of the ambulance receipts fund, or something in the way of even the Anna Maria Fund, who boast on their website and all their collateral materials the low crime and the safety of the urban towns, rural town rather, that they're in. This would add to that. So just trying to get everybody to think about it and buy into it. If $56,000 is too rich for the cable access fund, or if we can't go that route.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a
No, I know we
plan
definitely
B.
need to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Mike, are there cameras at Anna Maria in the police department, the building there where they meet and do their administrative, are they online?
There are cameras at Anna Maria.
Similar to this one, like the eye in the sky kind of thing versus the,
Yeah, I don't know what system they use, but it's proprietary to Anna Maria.
oh, so it's not on our?
No, it's not on our-
Is the
yeah.
plan then to join those two? No.
I don't think so. I wouldn't want that on the town, to be
Okay.
honest with you, because it is a private institution.
Sure, okay.
But no, it's a separate system, and as far as I know, they would be separate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
For the record, this is a stretch.
No,
But
understood.
Yeah.
We're also looking for a way to get it done.
Yeah.
So please, those that are looking at that and don't like all or some of it, they should know the motivation behind it is it's a worthy project. We should do it. Where's the money coming from?
Yeah.
So, okay. So by translation, that means we're on hold on that one too.
Correct. Sorry.
I got an easy report so far. It says, please hold.
Well, hopefully now we'll start making some dents with the new command car and some DPW.
Yeah, so the new command car. Actually, Mike, I almost reached out to you today and asked whether or not you wanted to attend. I didn't, but I'm glad that you did. As it turns out on the command car, I'm conflicted. I want to start with that. And as a point of background and history, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, I'm going to refer to them as the red and the black, if you don't mind. And that is that the red car, command car, way back when, did really not meet the favor of the Capital Improvement Planning Committee. And it was acquired by your own schedule that you have a very good vehicle listing in terms of what the source of funding of all these were. And that was basically paid out of the fire gifts and donations account, which the fire gifts and donation account is controlled completely by the Paxton Fire Department to do with as they wish. Then a number of years later, the black one came on to CIPC, which essentially was to have, at that time, the chief have the black command car, and the red command car would go to the deputy chief. And if I'm not mistaken, you were the deputy chief at that particular time.
Yeah, it was actually the other way around. So I ended up as a deputy chief with the black one. And then the chief kept the red one. That was his, yeah.
But nevertheless, that was not that black one. So the red one and now the black one.
Mm-hmm.
did not get the approval of CIPC at a October 23rd, 2019 meeting. And the way that it was paid for was there was a pitch to the Finance Committee to have it taken out of the reserve fund. And you were there, Neil was there, I was there, I think Forrest was there. Discussion at that time was it doesn't meet the criteria of the reserve fund. It's not extraordinary, it's not unusual, it's not of emergent nature. But plans were that if we could, if the funds can be taken out of the reserve fund, they would be replenished to the reserve fund. That did not happen. My point is that the red car wasn't approved by CIPC, the black command car wasn't approved by CIPC. Last year, there were police cruisers that were requested, and the request was at the level of 3. CIPC agreed to put forward 2. The understanding was that one of the police cruisers that would typically be traded in would be transferred to the fire department to be a command car, or I presume to replace the red one. That didn't happen for reasons not for this evening, but nevertheless, it didn't happen. So now we're here this evening, and the only thing that I like about it, it's being recommended that it be paid out of ambulance receipt funds, which technically it's all the town's money, but that's not going to impose a tax rate increase or require a capital exclusion or a debt exclusion and so on and so forth. My question is, do we really need it? Because the black command car is in excellent condition. And this one, which will replace the red car, puts about 3,000 miles on a year. It's idle probably as much, if not more, than it's active. Can we get through another year until the police cruisers come back next year and you take one of those that would be typically traded in and use it as a command car there, and then the ambulance receipt funds, which you're suggesting be earmarked for this acquisition, be used for something else, maybe even a video server. So there's something to like about your presentation. There's something to give reservation from my perspective. We didn't vote in favor of them under much better financial conditions way back when than we're experiencing now. So it seems to me that there could be good reason to hit the pause button on it and not do it this year.
Now, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say, we brought Car 2 to you guys last year. We keep delaying these capital projects. We're finding ourselves in holes, just like the DPW. I think we need to move forward with this. I appreciate it, even in the capital bylaws. I didn't really need to bring it to you guys. I brought it to you guys because I respect the committee. I respect what you guys do. I like having that vote when I go to town meeting with this. This car will see EMS calls. So using EMS revenue on it, it's really a no-brainer. Using this to offset my capital with putting my deputy chief in a 2019 with 34,000 miles in it makes a hell of a lot more sense than waiting another year, especially where that 2010, we just had mechanical problems with it this week, with it not starting, the car's rotting away. We're just putting ourselves in the hole here if we keep putting these things off. If we don't get out, kind of doing a nice thing by doing it in EMS revenue. I would love, we got to really start thinking about debt exclusions, capital exclusions here, guys. I mean, we're putting ourselves in the hole daily, and I get it, with overrides and everything else. Nobody wants to pay more in taxes, but we keep doing this stuff to ourselves, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot with this equipment. Buying used equipment is just, it's crazy right now. Like, I've never seen this before. And we're down in the hole here, and we're just going to be down in the hole every few years. So I wholeheartedly disagree, Mark. We got to push forward with this. And really, we're not using taxpayer money on this. We're looking at about $10,000 a year in a lease out of EMS funds. No better way to use it. We're replacing an ambulance too, which got through last year. I appreciate all the hard work that you guys do coming up with creative ideas. But that's why we have department heads too. You know, we do the thinking. We're doing this. We're out there doing it. We're giving you guys our best ideas here. We've weighed the options. I've weighed the options. I've heard the arguments. Well, you know, you needed a Tahoe in 2019. Well, I wasn't the chief in 2019, you know, and I didn't make these decisions in 2019. I supported my chief, just like my guys support me. But we need to really start digging our heels in here, guys, because, you know, not only do we have, you know, good capital plans that our department heads make, and we got real capital issues coming up. We got a DPW building. We got a school. Nobody's talked about the school, but the last major renovation with that school was 30 years ago. We're talking about the boilers. We really got to do something, and I don't want to make this about grandstanding here, but, you know, I'm asking, I got a small ask, not even taxpayer money. Doesn't even really need to be here. So I disagree. That's it.
Well, I think, Mike, the spirit that you are here is the right thing, and I think I asked you the other day, if it does use ambulance receipts fund, I believe that requires a vote at the annual town meeting. Am I correct?
You are 100% correct, sir. Yep.
Right. So I think you did come the right route, and I think we're doing it from your perspective, coming here, and our perspective, reviewing it. I think we've all done the right thing. You also, a minute ago, mentioned the boiler and the DPW building, and I'm sure there's a fire truck in the wings coming down. You make a really good point that there are some substantial asks, several of which are sitting up on that screen right now. And even though it is small money times a certain number of times could maybe afford something up here that we otherwise couldn't do. So my question was, once again, can it wait another year for that potential police cruiser arrangement that we had in place last year that unfortunately didn't come to be? Could that be the solution next year?
If I knew what the police department was going to do, maybe. I wouldn't wait another year on this car, though. I don't think it's going to pass its state inspection this year. So I would really, as a department head, as someone who looks out for the safety of the community and my guys, we need to replace this thing this year. And I don't have a crystal ball with the police department as to know what they're going to do with police cruisers. You know, the one we have, the fire inspector uses, very limited. So, you know, we take them at 80,000 miles, and, you know, they're pretty well beat. But, you know, we can get a few more years out of them on that end. But we really need to start doing something better, and I'm not going to wait.
Anybody else? No comments, no questions? Is there a recommendation?
Can't help you here, but I recused myself from all activities on that
Yep.
situation.
I'm still a voting member right now, right?
You are right now,
Yeah, okay.
You are what right now?
a
A
voting member,
voting member.
as of tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, you are, indeed.
I would vote that we.
We need to make a motion.
So I motion that we approve the new command car using the ambulance receipts funds.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Recuse.
Opposed, recused? I'm going to vote present, which is not for or against. So the motion passes.
Okay.
So, thank you. So now let's do DPW. We have 350, 550, roadside mower, catch basin truck. There's a lot here, and I think the discussion could very much blend into each other, so I don't want to limit how we talk about this. So the big question is, how would you like to talk about this?
So sorry.
Robert.
I have not had an opportunity to meet with Travis this week because of our schedules didn't sync up. So we have a meeting on the books for tomorrow morning. And I did not realize that we would be going this in depth into his materials and potentially voting on his requests. Would it be possible to do this at a future? I know you said there's some scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're giving him the most advantageous, opportunity.
Yeah, there were a number of questions out there to Travis.
Correct. He's been in a
And
lot
not
of
the
tri-
least of which was to exhaust the yellow highlight with DPW under the F-350, whether or not that indeed could be funded like the other two have been through
Yeah.
Chapter 90 funds. And I think that there was some comment that it may not be eligible for a truck. We've now circulated all of the listings of what is eligible for those particular funding. Truck actually has a weight consideration.
Yeah.
It used to be heavy, and now it's much lighter. Whether or not that captured a heavy-duty F-350 or not, I don't know, but we need to, I think, know whether or not that is a possibility.
Correct.
I thought he was going to try, schedule permitting, to go back and reach back to the person who he conversed with to get that answer. I think we need to have that
Absolutely.
answer.
Yeah.
In the 550, I think, is a quote a done deal.
Correct. So that one we
then the
don't
question
worry about.
becomes the roadside mower and the catch basin truck, which the material that I sent out on Chapter 90 ironically included the catch basin truck as one that could be considered for Chapter 90 funds. It's got a big number.
Yeah.
That wasn't the point. The point was that it could be eligible. Now, the question is, what if you got a used one? And you wouldn't use as much Chapter 90 funds. So, again, we're trying to find a way to get people the equipment and the vehicles that they're making a request of without breaking the bank or breaking the back of the taxpayers. And that's kind of the discussion that we need to have more answers for.
Absolutely.
But I think there's enough out there if people want to discuss the roadside mower and the catch basin truck. And by the way, the reason that it's under the roadside mower is 1 and 2 is just the initial request that came to us was for the 394, 155.
For the standalone.
And then there was a very attractive alternative, certainly attractive to us, not the exact same vehicle as the $394,000 one was, but it came in at $135,000. And I think that's the one that Travis left with as being his submission for the request, the $135,000. So with that, once again, I just open it to everybody to,
Just, I have.
Jump in.
I have a question just for clarification. I'm still confused about the Chapter 90
Yep.
balance.
Okay.
So could you just help me understand a little better where we stand as of, I guess, today or the 31st of January, whatever? Do you have those current balances?
So
And it's not that, again, I'm trying to overstep why I'm asking, but as you look that up, one of my concerns was, it appeared when Travis spoke with us last week, and again, I don't want to put words in his mouth. I thought he did an excellent job, giving us the information that we need to make decisions. But I think there was some discussion about a windfall, extra money that we didn't plan on coming in. And that inflated the balance. And Robert, as you're looking, I'm going to say somewhere around $790,000 is where we were, but
yeah, it was like 783, but that is
carryover from previous years plus.
correct, and it doesn't like show in the actual fund because it doesn't go into effect until they actually use it.
Correct, but it is
Yeah.
spendable money.
Yeah, it's reimbursed.
Okay, so I guess, Chris, again, this kind of goes to you, but to everybody watching and to the members here.
could we just clarify that point? Because I think you threw something out in a key way, Robert. I just want to dress it up a little bit.
Okay.
This is a expenditure replenishment program.
Correct.
You got to spend the money in order to get reimbursed.
Yeah.
So the revenue's not sitting in a revenue fund because you haven't gotten the revenue yet, but they do give you a letter of allocation.
Correct.
So there's like a memorandum that you can do what the balance available is, even though it may not reflect accounting-wise properly, improperly in the special revenue fund.
Yeah,
So
I think that's a
with
good
what is in that fund and what the allocation was, can you give us a starting number? Is it 500,000, 600,000, 700,000?
It was at 783, so I have to,
Yep, I'm not going to hold you to it.
No, no,
But-
that's-
But nearly 800,000.
correct, it was in the high 700s.
Okay.
788.
All right,
And I don't want to lose sight of the fact that, because the select board's not going to let us lose sight of the fact that you got paving in the mix as well.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not just equipment, even though there's a provision that allows it.
Yeah.
We don't want to have all shiny new trucks and we don't have any roads to
drive on.
plow because you can't drive on it because they haven't been
Right.
paved. So, again, the conundrum that this committee almost always gets itself into is being the masters to 5 or 6, or having to respond to 5 or 6 different masters. So it's not lost on us that it's for paving.
Yeah.
Before I go another step,
Yeah.
there's a road stabilization fund as well, that each year at the annual town meeting, it's voted to put $124,000 into that road stabilization fund, correct me if I'm wrong, which was for paving. So I could argue that you got 800,000 in the Chapter 90 fund available, you got 124,000 that comes up every year. So could we do both, is the point. Can we continue with a paving program and do something in terms of a vehicle acquisition program?
I just know from the talks that I've had with Travis that there are very big projects in the works. So
Very what?
big projects in the works. So
Paving project.
paving projects. So I know he talked about Burton Mar, but 56 going into Leicester is in very rough shape. 31 is going into Spencer, is being looked at for paving there as well. And then with the cross culverts are going to take a large portion of our Chapter 90 as well. So there's definitely a lot of big expenses coming our way. So that's why he was hesitant to sign off on the F-350 last week, just because he does see all these things looming in his future.
So let me just finish this last thing. So the point that we're trying to get at is,
Yeah.
I think the need for these two in particular, the roadside mower and the catch basin truck, and even the 350, was sold on the need. In fact,
Yeah.
we recommended the F-350 a year ago.
Correct.
So we're not going to have recommended it a year ago because there was a need, and a
then
year
not-
later we're saying, no, not so much a need. We're there.
Correct.
What we're trying to do is find a way to recommend the funding. Otherwise, it's going to be a debt exclusion. And a debt exclusion is going to add to the taxpayers whose taxes have gone up by virtue of Prop 2.5, by virtue of the override. They just went up again. Don't want to get ahead of myself. Potentially another override, now a capital exclusion. You know, at some particular point, they're going to ask, what the hell's going on? What are you guys doing? You're just passing it on to us, which there's another quarter out there that says, time to pay up. This is what we got to do. We want to have these things. This is what we have to do with our taxes. We're not of either of those schools. We're trying to find out a middle ground. And that's why we're recommending exhausting Chapter 90 funds before we have to go the way of a debt exclusion. So with that, I'll shut up now. Go ahead.
Okay. That's way above my pay grade. I don't understand all the other stuff. But I had one suggestion I wanted to follow up when you talked
Sure.
with Travis.
Sure.
And we discussed it last week, and that was, I'm going to use my terms. I believe, I saw it as we received some sort of, a windfall. We didn't plan on it, but we got more than was expected. So if we lived within the means of whatever we had planned for, and then we kind of like won the lottery a little bit, like a scratch ticket, we got an extra, whatever, $1,500, could that be used in this one instance, this one time, to get the equipment that he's looking for and still have the money, most of the money, for the projects that he has on the board as he moves ahead? Because by the time we go through this cycle, there'll be another letter written at some point, July 1st, August 1st, about, what's coming next year. And I understand that we do have to spend it first to say, here's our bills, and then they give you the check to put back in the account. But the roadside mower, because it's a seasonal piece of equipment, it doesn't get used 12 months out of the year where everything else that we were looking for. So I was going to reverse this. Instead of I have it on my screen, but instead of to be determined and the Chapter 90 funds for the possible F-350, I was going to say, let's figure out how or why or when we can acquire a 350, or as David said last week, maybe looking at an F-550, because it may be a little more durable and heavy duty, and he found one for $89, so for $10,000 more, we're getting twice the truck, at least in my mind. Use the Chapter 90 funds for the roadside mower. That's where I was going with that. So I don't think it takes a lot of money out of there. If I did my math right, I'm looking, I think we were allocated, we did not receive, approximately $235,000 extra, of which he spent $89,500 on the F-550 and $135,000 if we take the lesser of the two out of the Chapter 90 money. He'd still have that nest egg, that little kitty of where he's going to go with the projects. And if we did that this year, then next year we may not be as creative in trying to allocate resources from various departments. So that's kind of where I would hope you might talk with him
I
about
can
this.
absolutely talk to him about that. I don't want to speak for him.
No,
I just know-
please, he's not here, so that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. We're making all these decisions, but it's just, that's a thought process that I would like to explore further.
Okay, because I know he's gone to it twice already for the $60,000 purchase and now the $89,500. Right, so he's already had to use it twice. So the potential windfall that you were describing unfortunately has already been spoken for.
Okay. And again, Chris, I don't know if you have comments or concerns. I know you guys are going to meet, you're going to meet with finance and you're going to do all this other stuff, but I looked at it as a one-time hit. That's all I'm saying.
Was the
Which is a
road,
good idea, but I think, unfortunately, Robert came back with a good answer.
Oh, no, it's true,
And
yes.
it's been used for the other two trucks.
Right, we didn't see the 60K on here for the dump
Right,
truck. 'Cause
right,
so that's why it's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
was the roadside mower part that could be used for Chapter 90? I know you had the pictures, but
Do you have the 3-page email that he sent out? And can you?
I saw that. I was just confirming that.
Okay, no, it's
I
on.
don't think it's there.
The roadside mower?
No.
The catch basin truck?
Catch basin truck is the roadside mower, right? It's-
Yeah, I mean, that, Travis was very adamant that you couldn't use it for roadside.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't.
Okay.
He's right.
All right.
Can you use part of the purchase using Chapter 90? Let's say it's an $80,000 truck. Can we take 40,000 from Chapter 90 and find 40 elsewhere, or is it all kind of an all or nothing thing? Do we know?
I don't want to speak for the select board, but I would say that they would not like that kind of carving it up. Great idea, because I just made a recommendation regarding the service similarly, but those are generally not popular at the select board level. But, every year's different. It's a new board, new circumstances. I don't want to speak for them, but my experience would suggest that they prefer not to.
Just because with a big number like the catch basin truck, it'd be nice to
Right.
find different buckets, but.
I just had a question in regards to the catch basin truck. Forgive me for being, naivety here, perhaps, being new in the committee. But was there a reason we're only looking at one quote on it?
So that's something that you go through, like the state contracts. And then, unfortunately, that's,
The one quote for the bid.
yeah, so I mean, that's unfortunately the authority that you have to abide by.
Okay.
Well, wait, I think we can follow up. There are contractors that are on state bid. My business happens to be on state bid. But I'm under the public safety or personal protective equipment, PE01 for the state. But there are 12 or 13 vendors on the contract with me. So just
Yeah.
because there may be other vendors that are also on state bid.
Potentially.
I don't have the answer to that, but it's not. And the luxury of, once you get approved by state bid is, a municipality does not have to go out to request prices.
formal IFB, yeah.
Or request for pricing and this and that. They can say, we're going to use company A to acquire the following items because they are already on the state-approved vendor list.
Okay.
So I think the research may be, are there other sources that are approved? Or if not, are there other sources that have this type of equipment that then maybe we go out for an open bid, and even though you're on state bid, you can lower your price? Because that happens every day in my business. So,
I appreciate the explanation.
So my takeaway is DPWs are on hold.
That's what I would recommend.
Right. So to summarize, if you go to the top, if you don't mind, Robert, from the top,
Sorry, Tando.
you scroll up. Wachusett Regional School District is on hold. The command car was approved. The video server's on hold pending the Cable Communications Committee getting back to us. And DPWs are on hold pending your schedules and Travis's schedules lining up and maybe, a big fat maybe, him needing to come before us
back.
one more time.
Okay.
Can I get some clarification too on the catch basin truck? We talked about a lease to own or multiple options with the hook truck. I kind of was a little confused on everything he was saying, but
It was a purchase.
it was a purchase.
Yeah.
I think Travis said there could be a potential for at least home,
Right.
but he did not go into
Right.
it.
Yeah, okay.
I think the document said purchase, but you're right. So, So the warrant, excuse me, Neil, the warrant articles are being opened tomorrow, I mean, Monday
Monday.
night.
Yeah.
So when they're opened, is there ever a consideration of when they would be closed?
I think generally it's a month. But
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
the point is that we're gonna need to, everyone's schedules and weather notwithstanding, we're gonna have to move pretty quickly on this, because we've got to convene and take votes, write a report, give everybody approve it, and then get inside before the closing of the warrant articles comes down, because then it's a bigger problem if we haven't met that.
correct.
I think it's longer than a month, isn't it? I mean, have you guys got a budget
I mean,
No,
finance?
I always joke that the CIPC committee's got 2 weeks and the printer's got 7.
But it's longer than that. It's not 30 days.
So I said generally it's a month. I'm pretty sure if
Sometimes
you
there
are trying to put together a
placeholders, there's
report,
ways to get
we're not going
around
to
it,
close
but-
the
Oh, all
door
right,
on you.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause I
but
thought last
But I don't
year,
think we
because-
just ignore it. I think we.
No, but
need
when
to-
they moved the meeting back, they left the warrant.
So then
Open.
that would kind of go along with it.
Okay. All right. Ooh. Hey, Mike, while we have you sitting here, can I just ask you your comments on this funding for the new video server? Do you feel that the ambulance receipts funds might be able to contribute, like their part to a GoFundMe campaign?
Yeah, if we can cap what I put into the town, that'd be great.
Look, I'm just.
Yeah, I know. I mean, right now, planning on the ambulance coming out at some point in September, and then the car right around the same time. It's going to be about 120 days if we order it, in July.
Okay.
I don't, I'll have to see where the revenue's at. I have a balance a rough balance, but I'm just waiting on the special revenue from the treasurer's
Okay,
office.
because, I mean, you're sitting here, I just wanted to get, nothing I'm going to say, we were told yes or no, but I just wanted to get your take on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Plus, those that don't know out there, the fire department chief in particular is very generous in terms of putting a big chunk of that into the annual budget every year.
Yes, he is.
It used to be 300,000, then it was 350, and one year it was 460. I think the last 2 years it was 400, so that shouldn't go unrecognized.
Correct.
So. Any new business, old business, public comment?
Not additional, thanks for having me.
Michael?
Yeah, I just, I appreciate everything you guys do, and I don't want to, come off when I was explaining things that, I was annoyed, but, it is a big undertaking. We have a lot of capital projects. I know it's not easy trying to rank these moving forward, but, it's always going to be tough, so thank you.
We appreciate your appreciating us, and we are right back at you. We appreciate everything that police, fire, EMS, and DPW and all the departments do. So this is tough for everybody, but we're one town trying to do the right thing for everybody. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? None. All in favor?
Aye.
Noes? None. Abstentions? None. We stand adjourned.
All right.